What's up, everybody? Yeah. What's everybody doing? Is it Monday? It's another glorious Monday. How's everybody doing today? How are you feeling after a wild, rambunctious weekend in the United States or America or the world or wherever you are out there? Let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat real quick. Who was first? Hold on, I'm going to put the microphone up here. It seems more, let's go like this. There, I'm going to go like a microphone like this for a little bit. Mikey Fishy first to the chat. Dave's Aquarium second. And Mike Kinseth. 2 mics in the top 3 today. Check that out. Definitely digging it. Mirdul Singh, how you doing? Michael Sarr. Man, that's 3 mics. That's 3 mics in the top 5. What is up with that, dudes? Or do we just like have people being not very creative with names? Huh? Is that what's happening? Or is this just wildly popular with the mics? We'll just go with it. Why not? Janice Lumberger's here saying happy Monday, everybody. Good thing you're here. Yana, good thing you're here. That's what I meant to say. It sounded weird when I spoke it with my mouth. Johannes Martensen is here, so we've got some of the Netherlanders here. I know that. Netherlands, man. I have to wait till 2021 to be able to go back. Tony Franzen is here. Dave's Aquariums, Wesley's Fish Club, Christine Kaiser, Paula Kreenberg, Christine Kaiser. I'm gonna say it twice. Zip Gun is here. James and Craig Blaze. Craig Blaze. I always probably say your name wrong, but hopefully I get it right. It's Nature Man is here. Paulette is here. Frank Dominguez coming in. Looks like air quote first. Rico Stan, Big D Smoke, Daniel Velez, KG Cichlids. Okay, am I caught up? Joel G, Sci-Fi Swordsman. Okay, looks like it. All right. You guys, I can't just say what's up to everybody for the whole entire day. It's good to be here on a Monday. I'm glad that you all are here. Hopefully you hit the like button, share it out, and then people will have liked it and shared it. Although you might get better results sharing some of the edited content. That might land better with people if you share that content versus this content. Rico Stan says mouth speakings can be hard. Yeah, well, that's true. Sometimes, every once in a while, mouth speakings can be a difficulty. That's for sure. For sure. I think I got all of my links together. Oh, shoot, I still am missing one thing. I got to move. Nope, I'm not going to move that. I'm just going to open my email again. I'm going to open my email over here on the other screen. Excuse me. Let's open it up on the other screen so that I don't get it wrong. Where'd it go? I got to scroll. Oh, man, where did it go? I'm trying to find an email from over the weekend. It's one of the things I want to talk about today. Where did it go? Scrolling. My email is full of all sorts of nonsense. Oh, and it's annoying. Okay, where did it go? I mean, come on, really? Was it Friday? Saturday? Yesterday? This month? What is going on here? Oh my God, it's in my Gmail. It's one of the other email accounts. I'm so used to seeing all of my email collaborated into one inbox, and I have too many inboxes now, and they're all separate on my computer. So let's see if we can't pull up this email box. Here we go. From William. Okay, this will be our first topic of the day. Okay, there we go. Whew. Man, it took me a minute. Took me a hot darn minute, and I noticed that William is in the chat. Wheeled out his new name. It's in the email here. Says, Psychobilly Tarot has changed his name, or her name, either way, whatever you go by, their name, to Zip Gun, which is not It's not a callback to violence or anything like that. It's from Pokemon Go. So if anybody was worried about that, don't worry about it. It says, I'm writing to you on your page because you recommended the Fluval Nano LED, which I do 100% recommend that little light. It is a fantastic little light. I know that it's like $90. If you don't have the money, buy some LED lights at the hardware store and screw them into just a light fixture, and that will be fine. For that, if you're on a real super slim budget, just do that. I did that for years and years and years. Okay, 100%. So that's not a big deal. If you don't have some money to spend, just go with getting some LED lights from the hardware store. It can work. You know what I'm saying? So let's move on from that. I do recommend that the Fluval Nano LED, and I'm going to show you why as soon as I. This is one of the things I was downloading. I hope that I got it downloaded. Is this the right one? No, this is not the right one. Add source, media files. Then we got to go over here into the other directory. I believe it's in here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This will work just fine. Look at that. So maybe I doubled it up, but that's not a big deal. Why is it sideways? Oh, I'm moving the camera. Click on that. And for some reason, it's sideways. So we have to rotate it. Welcome to my life, guys. Why is this? Oh, we don't want to do the X axis. That's not right. We want the Y. Nope, Y. Y is not going to do it. This would normally be much easier if I wasn't live. We want like 90, right? I have to click it. Okay, there we go. It's not Photoshop. It's this app that I use for broadcasting. It doesn't work as well as I would hope, but that's all right. So I'm writing to you because on your page you recommend the Fluval Nano LED aquarium light and mentioned that one of the places you are using this light was on an algae scrubber. Is this a DIY algae scrubber, and do you have any videos going over the algae scrubbers? Okay, so to answer this question quickly, I have made algae scrubbers in the past. Some of them I had made really god-awfully terrible videos about how to make them and stuff. They inspired a billion questions. So I deleted those videos long ago. many moons ago. Mainly because I just consistently got questions, and I realized that the video that I had made was creating more questions than answering questions, which is generally the reason that anybody uses YouTube. So I just was like, all right, I'm getting rid of this. Okay, so I'm going to answer this a little bit in the live stream, and I'm going to address this coming in the next couple of weeks because I do have a bunch of the principal video footage done for this video itself, okay? So we're legitimately... I'm legitimately in process of trying to kind of mold it into a video that answers all the questions that people could have, and hopefully just have just a better product so that people will be like, oh, here's how I can make the thing in my space, and maybe they just have like a question or two or something as opposed to 1,000 questions. But I figured the live stream is a good spot for you, William, to answer your email, so we're going to go over it here. I've been watching other YouTubers' videos on scrubbers, getting ideas. I have 3 used acrylic 40-gallon C-Clear commercial tanks that I want to set up in a rack and plumb together. I'd like them to run off of a sump, and I'm toying with the idea of having an algae scrubber as part of the sump setup. Okay, so this is even more specific to what I do on a regular basis. So that's why I just went and snapped a pic. I literally snapped a picture. This is just from this morning of the disarray that is going on in one of my sumps. So I legitimately wanted to make sure that people kind of knew what it is and like that I'm actually using it today. So never mind this terrible image or any of that kind of stuff, right? But this is literally just how disarrayed it looks this morning. The algae scrubbing portion of my sumps that I run on my aquariums. Okay. Anyways, I thought I would reach out and see if you had any good videos on algae scrubbers, which I don't. But I do have a decent image here of what is happening with what I talk about. in regards to scrubbing algae in a sump area, because an algae scrubber is almost always going to be a separate piece to the aquarium itself. Oftentimes people make them as a hang-on back. Oftentimes people make them as a sump portion, or even something that draws water from the sump and returns it back in. Basically, what you're looking for is a high-intensity light that is going to be operating at the opposite schedule of your lighting, okay? So if your lighting runs from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m., you'd want your algae scrubber to turn on not in that time. You want it to run opposite, okay? So realistically, that's what you'd you want to be doing as far as the timing goes. But you basically need a really bright light, and then it needs to shine on something that you can either remove from the aquarium and clean all the algae off and discard, or in my application right here, you can see, I got to find the arrow. Where's the arrow down here? Is that it? There it is. I don't know why it's bright yellow, but let's find the arrow. It's going to go behind the picture. Oh, crap. We got to move the arrow up to the top, you guys, so that you guys can see the arrow over the image. Okay, come on. Move. Move, little buddy. Come up here to the top. Get in front. There we go. Okay. Let's make this a little más grande. Let's make it más grande. Mucho grande. There we go. And I don't know why my camera suddenly lost focus. That was weird. That's a random thing that has started happening with this camera. I don't know why. It's slightly stressful because I do not want to buy a new camera. That's not something I want to do right now. But anyhow, so as you can see here, see this dark, bright green, this healthy-looking green going on over here? This whole mat that I have in here is actually natural. And I say natural because this is Riccia fluitans that's just floating in the top of one of the chambers of my sump. So one of the cool things about Riccia is that it will float up to the top. It'll grow sort of like a thick mat. Eventually it'll reach about 2 inches. What is that in centimeters? Like 6 centimeters in thickness at the top of the water. And because it floats and grows at the top of the water like this, it's a perfect opportunity for a lot of light to be directed, just blasted right onto it. And because it's growing at the top of the water like this, you're going to get plenty of CO2, so there's always going to be photosynthesis happening. You don't have to worry about that aspect. And this light shining right on it will legitimately get algae to grow like crazy. And then the Riccia itself, you can just take with scissors and cut out the really infested algae portion, remove it from the aquarium, and throw it away. Compost it. When I say throw it away, I mean compost. You know what I'm saying? Let's stay green here, guys. Let's stay green. You know what I'm saying? Let's take a quick second here to update our memberships here, because we've got a bunch of super chats here we got to deal with because people are trying to reverse the diamonding, okay? And I appreciate the reversing of the diamonding, because realistically, if we get to a point of support around here, I will bring on another host. That's basically what will happen. We'll bring in another person here, and we'll just continue to grow this show. If we get to that point, where we can actively do that, I'm going to do that. It's going to happen. Okay, but we have a new member, Jacob White, coming in at the 101 Dalmatian, the 101 Dalmatian mark. Thank you very much, Jacob, for becoming a member. Johannes Martinson says, am I on the West Coast? Yeah, dude, I'm on the West Coast, bros. I'm in the western portion of Washington. I live in a big city area called Tacoma. So a vast area that is Tacoma. That's where I live, dude. So love it out here. It's cold today. It's cold yesterday. It's been cold the last half week or 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks. Yeah, last 2 weeks it's been cold. Today I think it's like 35 out there right now. It's a little chilly. Everything's frozen this morning. I had a bucket of water outside that was frozen, so that's the weather report. Jerry X popped in to say, with a £5 super chat, says, Popped in to say, I've been getting stuck into your planet species and tutorial videos this week. Fantastic stuff. I appreciate what you do. Thanks, Joel. Thank you, guys. I wish, on a personal note, I would love to just be making species videos about plants all the time, constantly, just kind of nonstop with some help to do production. I was talking on the Discord earlier today that this year has been just wildly difficult for me personally. I know that it's been difficult for a lot of other people. I'm not to downplay other people's situations. I'm really not trying to do that. Just for me, it has been exceedingly difficult to continue to navigate. I'm working as much as I can. I picked up extra shifts and other stuff, so hopefully we'll just keep moving forward. I never really hit that point in YouTube where it was like, dude, this is all I do now. So, but I would love to be, working production and doing that stuff for you guys all the time. We just never really, it hasn't come to fruition yet. So, we'll just keep plugging away. Big D Smoke with a $10 super chat says, keep doing you. Rico Stam with a $10 super chat says, to help combat the culling of 2020. The culling of 2020 has been tough, dudes. A lot of people know I did a live stream on Saturday just to congratulate our new president, our new vice president. I encountered a bunch of negativity from realistically people that are just speaking gibberish more than anything else. But most people were just like, yeah, I'm excited too. So we did lose a lot of subscribers and that kind of stuff, but whatever, man. It is what it is, dude. If I was somebody that wanted to sit around and be wildly concerned about, specific subscriber numbers, I would lose my mind. So while it is kind of depressing to see numbers go down, it just sort of is what it is, man. It's certainly not going to change my opinion on things. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, man, I'm going to get mad at you and leave. And then what do I do? Like, oh, okay, that's going to change my mind now or something? I don't know. That's not really how it works as far as I'm concerned. But either way, moving on. We got another super chat from Mikey Fishy with the reverse diamonding. As you guys know, I've been playing off of the one of my favorite comedians of all time, Will Sasso. They did the diamonding thing where they basically took their show to a point where they only had one fan, and then they gave them the show. And I'm into it, dudes. I think it's pretty funny. If we end up with a certain amount, if we end up with one fan, I'll just give away the show. Donald's Fish Vibe says, don't give up, Joel. It will come into existence. I'm not giving up. I'm just saying this has been an extremely hard year, and I'm looking forward to people getting vaccinated and us just moving forward as I happen to be an American, so I just hope America just continues to move forward. So that's my thing. So hopefully that answered those super chats. I got the membership. Did Patreon go down? Yeah, Patreon went down and went up. We lost some patrons. But then we gained some patrons, so I don't really know half the time what's going on around there. But we're down to 207. So we lost a bunch, and then we gained a bunch. So yeah, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Mary Page says, we don't have enough likes, guys. And Mary, I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting people know. Like, come on. That's free, I know there's a lot of people that are like, hey, man, I can't afford to support you. And I'm like, hey, it's free to share stuff out on Reddit and Facebook and stuff like that. It's free. Share out a video. It's all good, dude. Appreciate it. Miracle Sings says there was a stream on Saturday. I'm going to have to look through my notifications. Yeah, there was. There's a stream on Saturday. It will be pretty obvious. It had like American flags in it. A lot of people got super mad. It's like a bunch of people got upset because my American flag had 48 stars in it. And, the first time it came up, I wasn't like quick on the draw to realize that I had put the 48-star flag up there to talk about how it's been 100 years, only 100 years where women have been allowed to vote. And that was the flag that was in play at the time. 100 years ago. So the connective tissue, I just wasn't 100% like on board to be like super witty on it. But yeah, that's kind of what it was about. And I'm excited that we have a very competent, capable woman going into the White House, a very competent, capable man going into the White House, and a very large coalition of very intelligent, educated people that will be stepping in to help kind of not necessarily take us a whole different direction, but just kind of continue to correct little mistakes that have happened over the last 200 years of our governmental existence. That's kind of where I'm at, Whoa. Got a little of the phlegm. I think I forgot to take my, what is it called? It's like a antihistamine or something like that. I don't know what it is. My doctor's got me taking a different thing. I think I forgot to take it this morning. Big Hank Tank is here. What's up, my dude? Good to see you. I'm going to take you guys with me into Costco for company. Hey, Alyssa, if you were at the right Costco, Vicky is at Costco right now. I don't think you're going to the right one. It would be weird for you to have driven all the way down here, but yeah, all the ladies, three generations of my family are currently at Costco. Buying all sorts of stuff. I don't know what they're doing, but we'll see what happens. Johanna says, a sure way to piss people off anywhere in the world is to talk politics. Yeah, I mean, hey, either way, I'm sure it does piss people off, but, we're all adults around here, right? We're supposed to be adults? Yeah. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about at the top of the show today here, we'll get into more of the personal nonsense later in the show. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about today is I want to make sure if I got the right, is this the right file? Okay, I closed that one. Then I open, nope, that's not the right one. That's the flag I was talking about. Let's see. Oh, crap, is this it? No, that's not it. Is this it? No, that's the picture from there. I wonder if maybe I forgot to load it in. I thought I loaded it in, but apparently the flag has taken its place. I don't know. Excuse me. I'll try to get off mic there. Oh, I moved the camera again. Why would it do that? If I select this, why would it move the camera? It's just so bizarre that this program even does that. I don't know, but whatever. I'll just get better at operating it with my mouse. Ooh. All right. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about today, I think people are kind of confused about why it is that I try to prefer to send people to utilizing professional aqua soils, okay? And this right here explains it. And I think, who was it? V was asking me the other day about it, and I think I'd answered his question terribly badly because I was really, really tired at the time. But this is the reason right here why I recommend you guys to use professional aqua soils. Cations and anions, right? Now, what does that have to do with aqua soil? Okay. Anions are what we are looking for with our fertilizers. Almost every one of our fertilizer is categorized. Sorry, I've got that backwards. I did it backwards again. Why do I always get this backwards? Okay, our fertilizers are cations, and our substrates are anions. And I got that backwards, and I'm going to get a ration of shit for it. Sorry about that, but I got that backwards. Substrate, anion, right? Fertilizer, cation. Going to connect to an anion, right? And so the reason that we want to use professional aquascaping soils is that this has been taken into consideration, right? The cation exchange capacity is what people are talking about. This is the cation that I'm talking about, our fertilizer, okay? That most of our soils have a negative charge. If we're talking about Amazonia, if we're talking about stratum, if we're talking about EcoComplete, if we're talking about Turface, if we're talking about cat litter, if we're talking about whatever, it all has a negative charge. So when we add a fertilizer with the cations, right, they connect. And they don't necessarily connect, but they have what's called a covalent bond. This negative, or the positive charge, is attracted to the negative charge and will bind up with the covalent bond. Welcome to confusion, right? Plants will be able to uptake the cation into its body and produce more beautiful plants by growing and taking up fertilizer, okay? So while I did the absolute worst job trying to freestyle explain what I was talking about, let me grab my little write-up here so people, so I can actually just read that deal. Where did it go? Hey, man, where did my little write-up go? Oh, here it is. Okay. I don't know. It, like, minimized itself. Cation exchange capacity is the ability of a material to absorb positively charged nutrient ions, right? These guys right here. It means the substrate will hold nutrients and make them available for the plant roots, i.e., plant uptake, plant growth. Cation exchange capacity measures the amount of nutrients, more specifically positive charged ions, which a substrate can hold on to for future use by all of our aquatic plantorinos. So to just kind of break that down, we add fertilizer, it floats around. Sometimes the fertilizer itself is fish waste, broken down fish food, or it's literally a fertilizer that we add to the tank itself. That can either just be free floating, wandering around in your water, and get sucked up during a water change, or be absorbed by the plants via the water column, which is very common for plants to do, but it is not necessarily the best way for targeting getting the fertilizer to the root of the plant if it's a plant that doesn't uptake from the water column. I could attempt to go through a crazy list. I'm going to end up saying a bunch of plants wrong if I try to do that, so I will have to write that down and make it up for you at some point, which plants do what. So before anybody asks that, I'm going to F it up if I try to do it live, so I'm going to try not to do it live. I swear, sometimes I review the tape of me talking, and I'm like, oh my God, I screwed that up. Oh my God, I screwed that up. How do I fix that? I don't know. It's in the world now, and somebody going to tell me I'm dumb. And it does end up happening, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I screwed that up. So I'm going to try not to go through a list of plants and tell you which are which during the show here, because I'll end up misspeaking and accidentally send somebody down the wrong road, you know, which is not what we want. We don't want that. But I will compile a list at some point, and most likely make a quick video that you guys can check that out. But I do want to talk a little bit at length that, like, this is what the exchange that we're going for when we're talking about getting substrates, trying different substrates, trying different products that may or may not be specifically designed for aquariums, and see how well that they do. And one of the issues is that there's not a ton of money going into developing aqua soils and stuff like that. As you guys know, you could probably go through a list and there's maybe 10, I don't know, maybe there's 15 types out there, but there just really isn't that many out there really dumping and developing money or dumping developmental money into the market of figuring out exactly which aqua soil does what scientifically. So we do have to kind of lean on some of the few that we do know exist and we do know actually carries some of these characteristics along with what it is that we're trying to do, being a regular person with a job and working and doing all that stuff. Like, we don't have a science lab at our house. So that's one of the main reasons that I will be like, well, get 80A Amazonia. It's kind of the best one. Yes, it has a little bit of ammonia in it to help it kickstart. The Fluval Stratum comes in at a much better price point. It doesn't seem to have as much ammonium in it as 80A does. So if you're somebody that does have a cycled filter or something like that, like somebody that has some knowledge and know-how, you could use Fluval Stratum, add a little extra fertilizer, and you'll be fine. It really wouldn't be that big of a deal. You could use Eco Complete. You could use Fluorite. Those all work super well. But that's why I normally am trying to just steer people to going like, hey, use some of the pro stuff that exists out there. And I recommend the Fluval Stratum because in the United States, it's the best volume for the dollar spent, right? I've mentioned this before. I actually have a video that shows you guys the volume calculating, like just open up a bag, put it in a measuring container, and go like, that's how much that is, dude, versus the other ones, and then how much do they cost? Whereas, I've had like people in Australia be like, dude, why would you recommend me that? It's so expensive here. And I'm like, I don't know the market of every country in the world. Like I'm working on being in America and buying stuff in America. You know what I mean? That's just the reality. I literally ordered a jacket 2 months ago from a Japanese company, and it still hasn't arrived yet. So I try to steer away from ordering things from overseas. It's one of those things. I thought I would order a little jacket to help me out when I'm working, and it's cold outside, and it's already cold out, and it's still not here. So who knows? But I don't know the market of everywhere. I don't know what the EU looks like as far as cost and price points and stuff like that, which is why I try to give people a couple of ideas on what to go with. I know that Landon's making an Aquasoil. I know that Tropica is making an Aquasoil. I got in some Dennerle Aquasoil the other day because it actually had dropped to a price point where I was like, oh, I can get a bag. I could try it out. Let's see if some other people try it out and see how well it goes. Janice says, I used Eco Complete, then topped it with Fluval Stratum, which is a great strategy. It's a great strategy if you can utilize multiple different kinds of substrate with your plants, because plants don't come from just one little bit of substrate. So it's a good opportunity as a person who's operating their aquarium to be able to, give a couple of different textures, a couple of little advantages without losing your mind trying to do research for 16 months to try and figure out if this plant is supposed to interact well with vulcanized soil versus, something with a lot of the humus in it or whatever, right? So that's the kind of stuff that I try to give that advice so people can kind of try it out, see how well it's working in their area. Like, I don't know what your water's like coming out of your tap. You could have the weirdest water. You could have Flint, Michigan water, and my advice might not work on anything that you do because your water might just be so nasty that there isn't a whole lot that you could do without pre-filtering the water. And then we get into a filter conversation, and it's like, oh, okay, well, let's consider all of our options here. Oh my God, we have multiple members joining today in a show. We have multiple super chats. We have multiple members joining in. I do not want to miss the members. By the way, if you become a member on YouTube, scroll down the community tab and find our Discord link. Once you're a member, it will show up for you, and you can click on it. Maybe I'll post a new one. It's been a while since I posted one in there. But Colleen Hatton joining up and taking our YouTube membership all the way up to 102. Our current goal is 700. 700 members is the point where YouTube assigns you somebody to work on your channel. They assign you a rep. From my understanding, I've talked to some really big channels out there, and they said that you generally get contacted around the 700 member mark. So that's the reason for that goal of 700. I legit want to talk to somebody at YouTube. And apparently that's what it takes as far as they're concerned. So Yeah, is that funny? I think it's funny. Maybe you all are just like, yeah, that's dumb. No one cares. But I think that's hilarious. So I'm going to just continue to have a laugh about that in my own head while we continue on and I read some of your chat here. Tony Franzen says, tried Fluval Stratum in a 60-liter Dennerley cube, and now a couple months later, it's Crystal Black Babies Explosion. That is good, man. To anybody out there that starts breeding crystal shrimp, it's like always a fantastic moment when they start to breed like crazy and you get a lot of them because it's a really valuable item to have as anybody with a fish room, fish keepers out there, stuff like that. I do breeding some shrimp is probably the best thing that you could do monetarily, in my opinion. Growing and propagating plants is fantastic. A very limited market. And most resale plants, they just aren't worth that much. If you can grow insanely difficult plants, there are some plants out there that you could sell, but I personally think you're going to encounter more problems than anything else. Breeding fish, you could definitely have some fish to trade and stuff like that, but breeding fish is, if I had to give you guys a number, I would say 20, or like out of 100, 0 is bad. I would say 20 would be plant propagation. 50 would be breeding fish, and about an 85 would be breeding shrimp, as far as on the goodness scale of 0 to 100. I don't know what 100 is yet, but it's probably just like going crazy. Anakin Skywalker says, how can you grow weed? Plant it or build aquaponics or hydroponic system and grow it. I don't know. Like I've done it a bunch of times in my life. It's legal now. Very dumb to be doing it now that it's legal. You waste more money than you will having any kind of benefit from growing it yourself. If you're going to grow it yourself, plant it in a pot outside and let it grow under the sun. Pretty simple. Rob Meyer says, is there a reason why a reactor? One of the big reasons I utilize a reactor is it's a much more stabilized way to inject CO2 into the system. It gets much better diffusion rate into the water column itself versus just a superficial CO2 reaction that a lot of plants are having via something like a little bubbler. Although you can have your bubbler feed right into a reactor, it's just a much more efficient way of adding CO2 to the system, and I find it to be more beneficial overall versus wasting a ton of CO2 that's just blowing into a diffuser and right out the top of the tank. A lot of people talk about CO2 gassing off. I don't care about CO2 gassing off because it's in my water column, right? And there's always going to be an exchange at the water level between the air and the water of your tank. There's always going to be an extreme gas exchange happening right there. There's never really going to be a way for you to completely close the system and have that stop from happening. I know there are a lot of people out there that theorize, oh, you put a lid on the tank and it's going to keep the good CO2. It's nonsense. It's realistically nonsense. I mean, the amount of air that is in the like 2-inch region of the top of your tank, what do you think that is? Like, you're going to have a gas exchange at the top of the water. So you could make it less turbulent if that's something that you wanted to kind of like dial it down a little bit. But I find building a reactor is just a much more effective manner of doing that. I currently have, God, how many tanks are up there now? I think it's 132 tanks running off of reactors up at Aquarium Co-op, and test it out, and it seems to work the best. Those ones are like this big around and like 5 feet tall. You obviously don't need to build giant ones like that for your house. Although I do build giant ones for my house here because I'm an idiot and I build giant things that it's just I'm a weirdo. I learned about reactors from Tom Barr probably 13 years ago, something like that. He was making them like 20 years ago, and he was making them out of an acrylic tube, and then he just had a pipe going in and a pipe going out, and then he was just doing reactors. And so he always posted up on his forum like, hey, guys, think about making a reactor. It just seems to work better. He's a very nice guy, and was always good about sharing information like that. And it was like, oh, cool. And eventually I just started building more and more complex ones, and now I build like heavy-duty ones that you could probably run over with your car. And they would likely be okay, though maybe they would crack or break or something. But I just build ones that are pretty much professionally plumbed and just sort of indestructible, more or less. Mary Page says, I rely on talk to text, and it doesn't understand my southern accent. The Google robots will get better at that. Don't worry. Don't worry. Rob Myers, the follow-up, says, so put reactor in sump. Yes, I run my reactors down underneath the stand. Although I got to tell you guys, I had an epiphany earlier today. I may or may not make the decision to do this. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm mulling it over. But I may or may not want to take a couple of tanks out of my fish room, move the 150 to a different spot, and then change out a bunch of tanks and do a bunch of different stuff. But I don't know. I got to talk to Vicky about it. I had the thought. I want to mull it over with her and see if she thinks it's worthwhile to even try and do it. And I just wanted to put it out there. It's something I'm thinking about. If I vocalize it on the show, it's something I will remember, and then I'll end up talking about it later. So I'm gonna talk to Vicky and see what she thinks. Let's see. Let me scroll up a little bit here because I got deep into the ramble and want to make sure that I don't miss stuff. Oh, you guys, I just got done before the show. Pooper scooping frozen dog poop. Okay. All right. It's at Nature Man. Hey, definitely jealous. Definitely jealous. I haven't had cheesecake in months. Yum. My gallbladder is cutting up, and I'm really mad about it. Oh. Must be acting up. Let's see. That's pretty funny. All right. Mary Page, I have Fluval stratum with 3 to 4 inches of black sand on top. Great results so far. That's an interesting way to go about it, but I can see how you might be able to continue that long term. Does fluorite change water chemistry at all? In my experience, fluorite hasn't radically changed the water chemistry for me. Although the red you might get some different readings from adding fluorite red to the aquarium, but I wouldn't imagine that it would last that long. I think it would have more to do with just it being powdered up and getting into the water column. Juan Jean-Francois says, hello to you. Well, hello. I don't know how to say your name because I don't speak French. Very sorry. Myrtle Singh says, I try to run with what I already have in terms of aqua soil. They're all roughly the same, and it is better to use what you have than to buy something new. Yes. Just use what you have and continue to work with what you have if you have something going on. Just continue to try and improve the system. And the best advice there, continue to filter properly, do your tank maintenance, do your water changes, make adjustments to fertilizer. If you already have a system that's running, that's kind of the thing to do, is just to continue to work with it and get it to a point where you have a good ecosystem going, and that can generally just exist in any kind of setup. You don't even need. You could probably have SpongeBob SquarePants and just plants in pots and continue to do do well with working a system like that. Let's see. We got 12:49. We're only 50 minutes in. All right. 50 minutes into the show. Bum. There are a bunch of super chats early on, but none of them really had questions. Here, I'll just shout out high-five-y kind of stuff. So, all right. Let me scroll back down here. Janice Lundberg says, how many years does the soil last before root tabs are needed? I've seen a lot of people kind of speculate on this kind of stuff, and it's not something that I've realistically encountered. The reality is, for me personally, if I've found real deficiencies with a soil, I'll just use a hose and suck some of it out of the tank, I'll just go around and suck out a bunch of the substrate out of the tank and just supplement some back in. You guys have seen me add soil to aquariums, or aqua soil to aquariums. One of the big reasons that I don't do the Wallstad method is I've had the Wallstad method give out quite a few times. And I think a big portion of that has to do with there may or may not be in those organic potting soil and stuff like that people are adding to the aquarium. It doesn't necessarily have any kind of standardized metric of what it is that is in the soil. Okay. There's really no point where there's a lot of testing done to find out exactly what's going to happen when that soil comes in contact with a lot of water, right? And that's going to be the big difference that we see out there, because as we know, water strips a lot of nutrient from soil. That's just how it works. That's how the earth works, right? Water falls on the soil. A lot of it comes down because its pH is so low, it's going to pull up a lot of that stuff, leave salts behind and things. And, as we know, soil erosion and stuff like that is a problem in the world if there's nothing to keep it bound there into place. So if we look at some of the agricultural sides of things, adding fertilizer to the soil is what we do as humans so that we could grow corn and wheat and whatever it is that we're trying to grow. We can continue to supplement and fertilize that soil, but if that soil is going to erode and wash away, we have to just continue fertilizing it. In an aquarium, we always have water. There's always water on the soil, so it's essentially raining 24 hours a day forever, and we have to take into consideration that no matter how much fertilizer we put into the water column or even put into the root tabs and stuff like that, if that soil itself doesn't have any ability to do this right here, right, to have a good cation exchange capacity after being hit by water, which ours is always going to be hit by water, to bind up some of these nutrients that we need to provide to the roots of our plants, then we're just running backwards forever, and we're just spending money to do things like put root tabs in. I think for a lot of people out there, root tabs are extremely beneficial. I personally don't use them myself. I personally do not use root tabs myself. I have used root tabs in the past. I can recommend them as a general positive thing that people could use. I don't use them myself. I really don't. It's just extra money out the door for me when I could just as easily utilize liquid fertilizer that I'm already going to be utilizing anyhow, right? So to me, it just seems like an extra thing that I'd be buying, an extra thing that I'm adding into the aquarium, an extra thing that is releasing fertilizer. I've gotten root tabs in the past that basically just clouded out. They released all their fertilizer and it just ended up in the water column. I ended up with a bunch of algae and I got frustrated. I've used root tabs that were on a really good time release kind of situation, and they worked fairly well. But to me personally, the cost and the problem with having to go get more and put them into the tank and do all that kind of stuff is more detrimental to my workflow just as a human being. So I don't do it myself. But they might be helpful to you. Depending on how your tank is set up, you might just have like the SpongeBob SquarePants substrate in there. You know, you got that pink and blue and yellow gravel, right? It might work really well for you to add some root tabs in there every once in a while because there isn't much that you can do to get that sorted out. Johan, I don't know. Oh, man, I tried to say your name again. I got to figure out how to say this. I'm going to figure it out. Hold on. I got to figure out how to say your first name. I don't know how to pronounce it. Here we go. Are we ready? Oh, my God. How do we pronounce it? Pronunciation. Why didn't they give me that? Wow, it didn't give me that right off the bat. Oh, man, this must be like a really wild saying, like way to type your name out. Let me see. Can you pronounce this word better? No. I want to... Oh, my gosh. There's like no way... Where's the... Oh. There's not... No one even has a pronunciation for it. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
Adrian Johannaudet.
Johannaudet?
Adrian Johannaudet.
Let's see.
Adrian Juhano.
Juhano? Is that right? Juhano. Let's see.
Adrian Junhano.
Junhano.
Adrian Junhano.
Okay, I'm going to go with that. Junhano. All right. Juano. Okay. Juano. There we go. I don't know. I'm not going to remember that. I'm sorry. I hope I remember it, but oh, man, I'm going to try. Juano is asking, stratum reduced pH for me. It's at 6. How can I balance it back? You could just buffer the water back up. You know, the easiest way to kind of buffer your water back up is to, you know, what I do is I just take one of those little mesh bags. Let me see if I can find one of the mesh. Oh, wow, I'm scrolled like a million miles down here. Okay, hold on. Whoa. Mesh bag with zipper. Let me see. Crap, you know what? I might have to go... Whoa. No, that's not it. Hold on. I think I have to add more. I have to add more information. Oh, here we go. This might get us right into the zone. Into the zone by a bag. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's a bag. You get, how many you get? How many is that? Ocho? No, 10. You get 10. You get 10 of these bags right here for $8. So I guess, you know, I mean, me as a human being, I can't be super mad that these things get 10 of them for $8. $8.68. I don't know. Call it $1 a piece. I don't think I could make these for $1. So, you know what I'm talking about. I had some crushed coral every once in a while. As Jared says, some Wonder Shell. I love the Wonder Shell product. I don't know if they have in France or whatever country you're in. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't claim to know what country you're in. You might be in America. If you are, Wonder Shell exists in America. But I will say this: I've seen these mesh aquarium bags in the EU, so I know that they exist in Europe. Let me see if Wonder Shell exists in the EU. I don't know. Probably not. What do we got here? And there's also is it tourmaline? I think it's tourmaline. I think that's how you're supposed to say it, but those are a little bit weird. Those popped up, and I was like, oh, yeah, let me remember that. And here's the Wonder Shells, if people are wondering. Also, you could get Wonder Shells at Aquarium Co-op if you are like a big fan of Aquarium Co-op and you like their shipping and customer service and all that. They are a pseudo sponsor-ish of the show. So, you know, if you guys want to get them there, you can get them there too. But there's the Wonder Shell thing I'm talking about. But I know that they have crushed coral in Montreal. Okay. Oh, no. Quebecois. Ontario. Is Montreal's Ontario, right? That's not Quebec. Is it Quebec? No. I don't know. French Canadian. What's up, my guy? Okay. So they have Wonder Shells and they have mesh bags in Canada. They also have crushed coral up there. You use that mesh bag, put some crushed coral in it, rinse it out, put it in the tank somewhere, and that will slowly help you kind of buffer your water back up towards 7. Or unless if you want to keep going, you could keep adding more and you could buffer it up more and more and more. I like the crushed coral myself because it's a slow kind of progression. You can track it, and it doesn't go from like 6 to 8 all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go all super buck wild and end up in a spot where you're like, oh no, I had a disaster. So that's the way that I do mine. I do have to buffer up the I do actually have to buffer up the guppy tank myself because, hey, I want my guppies to be happy, and I can't have them sitting at like 6.4 super soft water. I need to buffer it up a little bit. In the 150, I have 3 of those bags stuffed full of crushed coral in the sump, and that, whatever that volume is, that's enough to handle about the 200 gallons to keep it closer to 7, right? I don't want to go too high, but it keeps it, I think last time I tested it was at like 7 or 7.2, depending on what lighting you looked at it. But it was kind of nice and neutral, and it's helping keep the current guppy population healthy, which is ultimately my goal at this point. I got a batch of guppies from Alyssa, and they slowly but surely went away. It makes me very sad. I got a new batch from Alyssa, maybe, I want to say going on 2 months now, and they are breeding like crazy. They're doing really well. I just hadn't buffered it enough previously, so I will admit my own fault there. I've screwed it up, but we just, as in everything in life, we just continue to work and move forward and try to improve ourselves as human beings and fish keepers or whatever it is that you're trying to do. My phone is ringing. Let me see what this is. Sorry. Hate to take a sidebar on the show, but sure, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully, they said they were getting burritos, so hopefully I got a burrito upstairs. Otherwise, I might be a little sad. We buy organic farm-raised eggs locally. I never thought about using that. From Merdwell says, adding eggshells also works. Our house goes through tons of eggs, so it's best to reuse eggshells. Just take out the membrane, dry well, and then grind down with a coffee grinder. It seems like a lot of extra steps. I have chickens here. We do have eggshells and stuff. Ours just go into the compost. It's much easier for us to add that into the compost. Kind of buffers up a little bit for us in our springtime compost edition. So we just kind of do that way. It's much easier for me to keep the fish tank stuff separate. And adding crushed coral is a great way to do it because it's easy to rinse it off. It's easy to put it in the bag, and boom, boom, boom. Who's the bloke, and why's he got my grand prescription pills? I have no idea what that's all about. I don't know. Do I have your grand prescription pills? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Who needs that 2010 pollen? I don't need any pollen. I don't know. Let's see. Donald's Fish Vibe says Joel C. is very tech savvy. Well, of course Joel C. is. So is Joel G. I prefer Joel G's tech savvy to mine, personally, but, you know. Pipex with a 149 super chat that's like a little puppy. Oh, thanks, my guy. Very appreciate it. Let me close this because it's... I'm getting super distracted. There we go. All right, I'm going to scoot over here to the middle. I keep wondering, like, why I'm off to the side. There we go. Am I in the middle? I don't think I'm effectively in the middle yet. Let me get over here. Then I can control and read a little bit better. Chris John says, I have the SpongeBob gravel. I got outvoted by the kids. Yeah, I mean, that's a reality that a lot of adults have to deal with on a regular basis. Chevy Fish is here. What's up, man? Long time no see. Or maybe I have seen you. I don't know. I feel like long time no see just sounded correct. So we're going to run with it. We got some members today. Okay, 105. We're about an hour in. Let's see. Let's read the chat here, what we got. Mary Page says, I think I got scammed with magic rock. I think they're just gravel rolled in some calcium. I don't know what that's about. I'd like to kind of know a little bit more of what that is about. This tank will just be theirs. I'll put together some new tanks for myself. I already have a 20 long and a 75 that are both going to be planted. I tried to get the black with color gravel. No. All right. Rowan is asking, how do I lower pH in water? Particulate matter like leaves, alder cones, that kind of stuff. Use a pH buffering substrate like Amazonia, Fluval stratum, stuff like that will lower your pH. Filter your water before you put it into the aquarium so you can get an RODI filter. If you happen to have super hard water wherever you live, pre-filter your water, strip all those minerals and stuff out of it before it goes into the tank. That'll help you lower the pH. Add CO2, that will lower the pH also. Lots of methods, lots and lots of methods out there. It just kind of depends on what it is that you're trying to do. Mary Page Flynn says, School of Hard Knocks all the way. That's pretty funny. Chevy Fish says, lol, I'm easily missed. I don't think you're easily missed. I'm just was saying, like, it seems like long time no see was the right thing to say. Because, hey, man, I haven't live streamed in 2 days, man. It's a long time, right? Oh, my God. All right. Am I caught up? I feel like I'm caught up in the chat. Most of the stuff I'm reading. Let me scroll up. Let me scroll way up, way back. It's amazing. 71 degrees here, so close to our record high. We have less than an inch of snow so far this year. Usually by now we've had at least a foot. The weather is weird yet again. The weather is weird in the United States. I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but climate change is real, and we probably should be addressing that as a people, the world. I happen to be American, so I hope that North America addresses it much faster than everybody else, but we'll see what happens. I think economically it's just a much better direction for us to go innovate and, you know, innovate. Why not? Why not innovate? There's no reason not to. Let's see. Well, seems like I'm pretty well caught up. Yeah, seems like I'm pretty well caught up with the chat, so I'm not really sure what it is. Where's the direction of the show going to go? Let me close this. Oh, that was me trash talking the bootstrapping. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Now that makes no sense. Excuse me. Oh, the phlegm is coming back. I think I did forget. I think I forgot to take that this morning. I'll remember. I'll go up and look at my little caddy and see if I did or not. I'm like an old man. I got that little pill caddy, you know. Got to take my vitamins. Max Tomancock says, what are you guys' favorite plants? I think the reality is, dude, my list is way too long. But currently, I'm a little bit transfixed by most Ariocalan right now. Or what? I'm back on that. I'm back on the Ariocalan thing again, which is not the most exciting plant out there. But it's also not the least most exciting plant. I know there's a lot of people that are pretty excited about them. Let me look through a little bit of a list here. I mean, obviously Java Fern, Alternanthera Renekii, those are great all-time, long-time plants. Anubias Nana, that's great. Marsilea Minutia, cool plant for sure. HC Cuba, which is Hemianthus calcitroides, also known as dwarf baby tears. Ranunculus, I always say this wrong, inundatus. I might have gotten that right. Kind of a goofy plant. Actually, I have some growing up out of one of my plants right now. Just thinking about making a video about that this morning. Bacopa, awesome. Cryptocorini. Every kind of Cryptocorini is my favorite. I think Cryptocorini is probably my favorite plant of all time, I think. Realistically, there's so many variants of it. There's so many variants of Cryptocorines out there, guys, that is one that will probably always keep me transfixed. Limnophylla mini, cool plant. Rotala, lots of cool Rotalas out there. Many different kinds. Ludwigia, long-time classic. So many different types of Ludwigia, that's for sure. Lagonandra. Syngonanthus, man. I have a love affair with the Syngonanthus, but mine aren't doing well right now, so that's a little bit annoying. Let's see here. Helanthium is a cool one. Let's see. Going through the list here. Going through my list. Oh, I always say this one wrong. Also, hydrocoidal tripartita. I may have gotten that right. Cool plant. I've got a little bit of that right now in the aquarium co-op sponsored tank, which you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. But I think I might be able to finish one of those videos today. So hopefully sometime this week that might come out. We'll see. I got to see how long the edit takes, man. That one is... I keep piecing all these parts in, then I have to re-render it, and it's just really stupid technical talk that is boring as hell, but it's also boring to actually do the editing. Although I do enjoy it, but it's boring to do it. It's boring to do the editing because computers crash all the time when you're editing video, and even if it's just once during editing a video, like it just screws up the whole rhythm. Pogostemon, there's about 1 million different kinds of Pogostemon, which are great. That's for sure. Diplotis deandra, I was yelling at that this morning. Diplotis deandra is always kind of funny. Persicarias, Persicarias are always fun. Mayaka fluvatilis, that's a good one. Tonina fluvatilis is also a cool one. Ludwigia twisted tornado aquarium plant. I got to tell you guys something about that. A little bit of a stupidly interesting story with my Ludwigia twister. I was growing well. I kept propagating it, and like a dunce, I hardened up the water where it the tank that it was growing because I was more concerned about the guppy's health. And I just killed all of my Ludwigia twister like a dummy, which, I mean, I didn't kill it. It just went like, it freaked out. And I'm hoping that it will resprout some legs and grow back. But like a dummy, I should have moved it, but I didn't. At the time, I was like, oh, it's fine. It won't be a big deal. Because I was like overly confident, stupid idiot, and ended up... screwing up that plant, but hopefully it'll bounce back. We'll see what happens. At this point, if I move it, it'll probably just die if I put it in another tank. So I'm kind of just fingers crossed. It's looking like it might come back, but you never really know. Dreams of Aquariums, good evening. It's been some time since I popped in on a live stream. What's up? What's up? Good to see you. Thanks for coming back. To pop in. Is there any common garden plants that can adapt underwater? Yeah. Most of these plants can adapt above water. But I don't know common plants in Quebec. I have no idea. I wouldn't be able to come up with anything good. But Myrtle Singh says Lobelia cardinalis. Yep, I made a video about that. That's a good one. River buttercup. I don't know what river buttercup is. Bacopa, pennywort. Yep, those are all typical garden plants that go underwater. Yeah. Any ideas for plants to add height in a Dennerley cube? Currently only 2 types of moss on driftwood and on the dragonstone. I mean, like any stem plant. I mean, like, I would say one of my favorite sites to go look at plants is Aquarium Creations, because they have a lengthy list of stuff that they're growing. They actually grow them there. You can find some rare stuff, and but just basically anything that's a stem plant will add height. I kind of have to know exactly what. We have to kind of think about like what your water parameters are, but realistically, any stem plant is going to add height. Let's see here. Let's see if I can look on my little list here. Bulbitis would outgrow that cube. Styrogini could add some height. You could buy some bigger crypts that grow in the back. So like Cryptocorini affinis would be a cool one. Oh, Ranunculus inundatus. I always say that wrong. Is river buttercups. Yep, that'll grow in your garden too. So yeah, I would say, Tony, like if you were trying to add any height, any stem plant, or just maybe I would consider going with some bigger crypts, like affinis, like any of the affinis crypts. They grow like about yay tall. That would bring some height to the background, and you could definitely kind of plant them around with the mosses and not kind of outshine the moss. Would kind of be somewhere I would consider going, but I mean, it really just kind of depends on what really fits your visual and ecosystem appetite, like exactly of what you're trying to build. Would be kind of my advice on what direction to go, Current viewers, 800,000 viewers watching right now. That's intense, dude. There's a lot of people watching. We should probably hit the like button, I guess. Excuse me. The phlegm is producing. I think I forgot to take my my jammers. Let's see. Zipgun is asking, is Elodea just as good as plants like hornwort or guppy grass for Librarifry, or do you prefer something different? Librarifry, like Elodea, is kind of just like a goofy stem plant that... no. I would probably go with something finer. Like the guppy grass has a lot of little spaces and little hide areas for them to kind of cruise around in. The general chance of there being a lot more surface area, A, surface spaces, B, and then infusoria and things like that will have a lot higher percentage in whether it be mosses or guppy grass or something like that. That's generally what I would go for. I do keep some guppy grass in a couple of my sumps just in the off chance that I may or may not need it at some point in time. So, yeah, I mean, guppy grass is generally the way to go. I mean, it just does a great job of creating that space, and it does promote kind of that infusoria growth that the little guppy fry feed off of. Any kind of light bearers, that's mainly the food that they're looking for, is just little organisms and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, not to say that Elodea is, like, bad or anything like that, but I just would go for stuff that has more a more finer area for them to kind of tool around in and get comfortable and not be expecting danger all the time. Although I will say, like, my guppies in the 150, like the babies don't care. They're all over the place. So, you know, it might be anecdotal. It might be anecdotal, realistically. Colin is always posting a picture of one of his aquariums, and it always has a beautiful flower on it. I was blown away when I found out it was just impatiens. Let's see. Who's posting? I don't know who Colin is. Off the top of my head, I don't know who Colin is. I prefer guppy grass for fry from Chevy. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of my way to go. Subwasser tang gets everywhere, and I generally don't go deep into the subwasser tang. Maybe about 10 years ago, I got wildly into that plant, and it ends up everywhere. It's like herpes in the aquarium, dude. Like, it ends up in the sump. It's growing back here. It's growing in nooks and crannies. So it's one that I don't heavily favor these days because I just have it show up randomly, and I'm like, get out of here. What are you doing? You know. Scott's Aquatics is here. What's up, man? Good to see you. But yeah, definitely thanks to our 2 members today. That puts us up at 102. That makes it a little safer, you know, from the diamonding. We don't want to end up at 0. Oh my God, a burrito just got dropped off. Oh my God, we're living in burrito smells now. The burrito smell is gonna start wafting over here, and I'm gonna start chewing on the microphone. The hunger pains. Myrtle Singh says composting is best for trimming. What are you saying? Oh, I'd be very careful about disposing it. Yeah, all aquarium plants, be careful of disposing of it. Like, I always generally throw it in the compost or I feed to the chickens. I really am cognizant of making sure that it doesn't end up like going down a drain or anything like that. You know, you really just don't want it going out there. Oh, everybody's excited about my herpes comment. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, subwasser tang is like that. It just shows up forever. Yeah, it's like the glitter of the craft world. Speaking of that, I had glitter on me earlier over the weekend. Let's give a little bit of the weekend talk here. This little baby right here. This tiny little person is much bigger now. And today is her 2nd birthday. She's 2 years old. And as a dad, I gotta say, I'm very proud of my little daughter. I think she's awesome. I think she's awesome. I think she's amazingly smart for her age. She's very well. She's healthy. She's happy. And I'm very, very lucky. I'm very lucky dad. Very lucky dad to have such an awesome baby. And I had glitter on me because of her little birthday party, which is mainly us standing out in the cold. Everybody wearing masks and standing outside. It was incredibly difficult to be in a sort of pandemic type situation of trying to have a birthday party, and you know, everybody have to like kind of drive up in their car and be like, "Hey, happy birthday!" So that was a little bit weird, but I really am a lucky dude to have an awesome kid like Olivia. So looking forward to the next. I don't know how long I'm going to be around, but let's just say 30 years, and very exciting. Very exciting. Very cool. So, it's that really good time. It's that really good time where you're like, dude, this pandemic this year has been extraordinarily difficult. People are losing their minds all over the planet, and it's very exciting to, at the very least, be like, all right, my family is healthy, things are good, my baby's healthy. You know, as a human, we all encounter all sorts of like weird hardships, but things are going pretty good in that consideration. So, very cool. Christine says, "Too cute. Girls are the best." Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, why not? Mary Page says, "Wait till you all become grandparents." Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about all that. I mean, can you imagine like Olivia's gonna have babies in like 30 years from now? I don't know. Ooh, Aquaball says, "I remember she was born a year after my boy. He just turned 3 on October 31st. Ooh, Halloween baby. Ooh, gotta like that. You gotta like that Halloween baby, you know? But yeah, that's kind of the thing, you know. I think from like a YouTube production standpoint, like throughout the week, I work out in the field, which means I drive all my tools and I go work. And I'm pretty much gone the entirety of those days. I get up at 3 a.m. I drive till I get there. The current job site's 72 miles from where I live. And through a lot of weird traffic, but I leave super early so I can get there early enough. I work until like 4 in the afternoon. Then it's a struggle to drive home. Because generally speaking, I work like my time schedule is I work from 6 a.m. till 4 p.m. and then I leave. Then it takes like a couple hours to drive home. I get home, hang out with the baby, and then by like 8:30 or whatever, 9, 10, I go to sleep. I get up at 3. I do it again. I do that again. I do that again. And then Friday, I do YouTube stuff. Monday, I do YouTube stuff. I do live streams on those days. I try to do edits on the weekend and stuff, but the reality is right now with the pandemic in the way that everything has just been scheduled out, it's like I try to spend the weekend with Olivia. And, you know, there's certain points of time where you got to make like a personal decision and just go like, okay, I get the work done on Monday and Friday that I can. Monday is extremely difficult to get extra work done because Vicky has work meetings on Mondays in the evening as like extra work that she has to do because everything is remote. It's all on like, you know, it's all computer meetings now. So she has to do that on Mondays. So basically like 6 till 8:30, she's doing that. And like, I'm supposed to be in bed because I got to get up at 3 a.m. on Tuesday. So it's like, I can't stay up till midnight anymore. Like I used to like edit videos, that's kind of what I used to do on Mondays. That was my previous schedule, but now that just doesn't exist. And, it's super difficult to like edit videos on Friday night or Saturday night because I'm like all day I'm doing stuff with the kids and everything. And it's just a little bit weird, but we'll see what shakes out over the next couple months. And hopefully I'll be getting more videos out, you know, because I get like a little bit of a video done and then it's the end of the day. So I don't know. I definitely don't miss the commute when I had jobs up north. Spend 4.5, 5 hours a week driving to work 8 hours. Yeah, it's pretty wild. That's why I leave at like I leave before the gas station's even open. Like I have to go to the gas station and it's closed. Like I can't go in and get a bag of chips or anything like that or whatever. You know, I can't get any beef jerky for my drive. You know, but it's pretty weird. My son just turned 20, but my grandpa days are still a ways away. They better be. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, who knows? Big D might be a grandpa here pretty soon. Who knows? Then you'd be Big D Grandpa Smoke. Grandpa Dennis. Let's see what we got over on Discord. Did anybody call in? Is anybody calling in today? Let me open up the Discord for phone calls in case anybody wants to call in. I forgot to. I forgot to change the date again. Go in there. Go in the. I want to go in. Oh, there we go. Okay. I think I have to get in here to change the name on the screen. Noise suppression powered by... No. We don't want that. What? I keep forgetting to change the date on the Discord. No, that doesn't do it. Where's the setting button? Can I not change the settings while I'm in here? Oh, here it is. There we go. Okay. See if anybody's calling in. November 9th. Oh, and I hit the 0 again. 9. There we go. There. Save. Okie dokie. Go back. All right. Nobody's called in. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if anybody's wanting to call in today off of the Discord. Chevy Fish says hi. Scott says hi to Chevy Fish and Rico. It's the best feeling, Mary. I've been had my granddaughter since Thursday. My daughter had ankle surgery. Ooh. Oh, man. Ankle surgery. We'll have to put her in the Dak Prescott pool. Hopefully they'll both do better. Let's see. Oh, yeah, the Seattle football Seahawks did terribly yesterday. I don't know what was going on with that game. And to anybody that says I'm too stupid to know what was going on with that game, you might be right. But Pete Carroll came out and just said, like, I don't know what happened. That game was absurd, too. So, maybe we'll hear from Pete Carroll in the middle of the week press conference here and see if he knows what happened by that point. But really poor performance by one of the best teams in the league. So that was weird. Mary Page says, it's been a while since I've been out of lurker mode. Has it been a while? Oh, I don't know. What is the best way to grow Blexi? Yeah, I'm wondering if you're saying Blixa. I would imagine. I mean, if you're talking about Blixa japonica, provide it good substrate, proper water conditions, and let it grow. I mean, you could pull the heads and split it and replant them, and that will speed up the propagation process. But, I've never really had a big problem with growing Blixa japonica. It was just kind of one of those plants I put in a tank. It grew like crazy, and I pulled them out and I split them, and that's pretty much it. But, just like anything, you provide it with good water conditions, a lot of CO2 and good light, and it'll grow. That's the fertilizer. That's pretty much it. It's not one that I ever found to be really a specific needy plant in one way or another. Like I was talking about the Ludwigia twister earlier. That is a plant that I could give a whole lot of pointers on, and realistically, people would be like, "It still died," and you're like, "Yep, pretty much." But pretty much any plant out there that you're trying to produce a lot of it provide a lot of CO2. Generally, set up a tank that has appropriate lighting on it, and also not be super concerned about fish considerations. You'd probably want to have a tank that doesn't have fish in it. Just the same as if you were like trying to breed fish, you'd probably want one plant in the tank, give it specific water conditions, and just gas it with CO2 like crazy, and you generally will grow a bunch of it. But I think if you're asking about growing it professionally or something like that, that's just such a long, drawn-out conversation that I don't know if I'd be able to describe with my mouth hole to any kind of in any kind of manner that people would have a good impression on, like what it is that they're supposed to be doing. It would just be like people are like, oh man, you were talking for like 2 hours and I'm confused. So, but good water conditions, light, CO2, most everything will produce and do well. But you can definitely pull them out and split them to propagate them faster. Yeah. Mary Page is saying, I've had to lurk for the past couple of weeks except for saying hello. Oh. Okay. Well, that wasn't the impression that I had, so sorry. Yeah, I don't know. Big D Smoke says the Bills aren't the same Bills from a few years back. They are legit good. Yes, they are legit good. So are the 49ers. So are, Seattle plays good teams. Seattle did not play well yesterday. They didn't even play well. They didn't play well. They did not play well, and it just literally, Russell Wilson was just out there, like, kind of just throwing the ball around. It was very weird. I don't know. There was a lot of aberration-type play yesterday out of the Seattle Seahawks, so it was very, very weird. And even Pete Carroll came out and was just like, I don't know what the hell happened there. That was weird. Mary Page Flynn, I found tons of things you could put in an aquarium at Costco. I wouldn't advise most of them, but they could go. That's pretty funny. Mellywell, a female pea puffer in a 7.5 gallon all by herself. Hair algae problem. Trying everything for years. I definitely need an inside helper. She kills everything, including female adult Amano shrimp. I think really, like, if you're having an individual tank problem like that, the first thing you're going to have to do is test the water, find out what's going on. Get a comprehensive idea of, like, what's up with the water parameters. Is there excess light hitting the tank? What is it that what kind of plants are out competing the hair algae or not competing with the hair algae? Would it benefit to have some plants growing up out of the water column to help pick up excess nutrients and stuff? Probably. When you're talking about little pea puffers, you're probably adding a lot of food for the pea puffer, even though it might not seem like a lot. You realistically are probably ending up with a lot of waste from the pea puffer. So realistically, there's like kind of a lot of things to come into play there. Personally, what I would do is test the water, find out what's going on, start doing small water changes, manual removal as the person, meaning to do the remove the hair algae yourself. I use a toothbrush. I buy the super cheap, like, dollar store toothbrushes. I use those to remove hair algae and just continue to do small water changes. And I would consider growing some plants up above the tank so that the roots are in the tank and the plants are growing up above. That might be a really good accommodation that could help clear that up. With such a small tank, it's a 7.5 gallon is like 12 inch by 12 inch by 12 inch. Just that little tank, it's something that pretty much most people could handle, getting a little clip-on basket or something like that, or fix some baskets to the back, grow some plants up and out of there. Who did play well? The New Orleans Saints. Yeah, New Orleans Saints were going buck wild. I do got to admit. And they went buck wild on the Bucks. And yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Tom Brady. What was Tom Brady's line yesterday? Tom Brady stats from yesterday. Let's see. Versus the Saints. Completion percentage, 57%. 209 yards, 3 interceptions, with a rating of 40.4. So -6, 200 yards is... Oh my God, I think he had like a negative fantasy score. What was his fantasy score? Tom Brady stats fantasy points yesterday. Let's see. I think he had a negative fantasy score yesterday. Okay. CBS Sports won't let me watch that because it wants me to turn off my ad blocker. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we want week by week, but what did he do last week? What did he do yesterday? Fantasy points per game. Opponent, New Orleans. Fantasy, there we go. I have to turn that on. Oh, he might have scored 5 points yesterday. But the 3 turnovers, man, the 3 turnovers should have been negative. Yeah, so he had 5.4 fantasy points minus 6 for the 2 turnovers. So he had a negative 0.6 score. I know that like people will be mad that I laugh at Tom Brady for having a bad game, but come on, the guy has like 5 Super Bowl rings, dude. You gotta laugh every once in a while when a guy like that has a bad day. Yeah. Alyssa says, I know the 10 Things videos do really well on YouTube, but I'm not a good YouTuber. Yeah, me too. I throw myself in that group. I'm not a good YouTuber either. If you feed snails to pea puffers, they don't eat every piece of meat inside the shell, which causes decay, nutrient, then hair algae. Yep. The puffers are messy eaters all the same from Chevy Fish. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, puffers are really messy, for sure. Big D Smoke says, in my fantasy league, he had 4 points. Oh, you must not have negatives for turnovers then. This could be your chance. I was surprised that he didn't start throwing this Microsoft tablet and start yelling at teammates. I think I would have expected it. That would have been my expectation, too. All right, guys, we're an hour and 45 minutes in, and we're talking about football. So, yeah, I think that might be it for the day. Hey, if you enjoyed this content today and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you're not a member, consider becoming a member. It's like $5 a month, or you could join up on Patreon for as little as $1 a month, or you could super chat $1 or not, or whatever. Either way, let's go over to our viewer activity and give a shout out to Johannes Martinson, Jerry X, Big D Smoke, Rico Stan, Mickey Fishy, or is it Mikey Fishy? I don't know. Mikey Fishy or Mickey? I'm going to say Mikey Fishy. I'm going to correct myself from saying Mickey Fishy. Pipe X for super chatting today. Thank you very much, my guys. And Jacob White and Colleen Hatton for becoming members. I very much appreciate it. It's what keeps the lights on around here and my ability to show up and do a show. Current revenue for today's show is going to be $31. So nice. Look, trust me, that's way better than zero. And thank you very much. I appreciate it 100%. Where is my freaking buttons around here? All right, there's my buttons.
Chaos Dionysus, Hera, Hermes, Icarus, Narcissus, Medusa, Eros,